Chelsea Clinton was a key campaign figure when her mother ran for president last year, and even before that. She is a vice chair of the Clinton Foundation and an adjunct assistant professor at Columbia University's Mailman School of Public Health. She is here for an interview you will see only on CBS This Morning. Her best-selling book, It's Your World, Get Informed, Get Inspired, and Get Going, is now available in paperback. Chelsea, welcome.
Thank you so much, Charlie.
Great to see you.
I'm happy to be here.
Well, what do you hope to accomplish with this book?
I hope that this book helps inspire kids who are already engaged in the world to think about what they can do to translate that interest and engagement into real action. And what can they do to help improve the health and wellness in their schools? What can they do to help fight global warming? What can they do to ensure they're supporting girls getting into school around the world? And I hope that it helps some kids who maybe aren't engaged yet think about why they might want to get engaged, particularly at this moment.
Yeah, last time you were here, you called it a call to action, actually.
I do think
Are you
it's a
finding
call
kids
to
at all ages really do want to get involved?
Absolutely. I mean, Gayle, I think we talked about this last time I was here.
Yeah.
I wrote this book in part because I kept meeting kids who wanted to know more about what they could do. And I also was really lucky to meet so many kids who already were doing something and wanted to know what they could do to make that work even more impactful. So I hope it's a resource for the kids who are already engaged, and I hope it helps inspire some of the kids who aren't engaged yet but want to be.
You were going to say something.
Well, I was going to say, knowing this book and good for you, the question everybody wants to know, how was your mother?
Oh, she's great. I saw her this weekend. We were up in Chappaqua with our kids, Charlotte and Aiden. I think the best moment was when I was relaying an anecdote from a couple nights earlier when I'd put Charlotte to bed, and she said, "Mommy," and I said, "Yes, sweet girl." She said, "I want to be a mermaid or a zookeeper." I said, "Great." So we laughed a lot about that this weekend, and my mom talked to Charlotte a lot about what it would mean to be a mermaid or a zookeeper.
You think she'll run for public office again?
Oh, I have no idea. I don't think so. I think right now she's focused on her book. She's focused, thankfully, on her grandchildren. She's focused on what she can do to help support work that she's been engaged in for longer than I've been alive, around children, around women, around families. And I just am really grateful to have more time with her now than I've had in a long time.
I know that when she spoke in Scranton for St. Patrick's Day, though, she said, "I'm ready to come out of the woods."
Yes.
What did that mean?
Well, I think we're seeing what that means right now. I mean, she has given a few speeches where she is talking about kind of what she thinks kind of needs to happen now. She's clearly looking to encourage many of, particularly the young people who are thinking about running for office, that they should keep thinking about that and throw their hats into the ring. She is trying to figure out what she can do to help support so many of the organizations, like Planned Parenthood, who are standing on the front lines to defend our fundamental rights. And I just am really grateful that she's out there doing that work, because I believe as strongly today as I did kind of last year and the year before about what we need to be doing to protect and advance progress.
Is there anybody else in the Clinton household thinking about running? And by anybody, I mean you. See, you could take your book on the road while you're campaigning with Get Informed, Get Inspired, Get Going. I feel like deja vu with your mom all over again. Are you running? Are you running? Are you running?
Running for what?
Yeah, no.
That's the question.
No. But
I don't know.
I do think it's important that we be talking about all the different ways it is possible to engage in the world. And I think being a citizen isn't something that just happens in an election year. I think it's something that kind of is a call to action for each one of us, Gayle, every single day. And I think there are lots of ways to get involved. Clearly, running for public office is one of those. I think to run for public office, though, a few things have to be true. I think you have to have a clear vision of what you would do kind of in a given job. I think you have to have a clear sense that you're the best person for that job. And right now, I'm really lucky. I live in a neighborhood here in New York City where I support my city councilwoman. I have a major not-so-secret girl crush on our public advocate, Tish James. I support our mayor. I love my congresswoman, our senators. I clearly don't agree kind of with our president, but I'm definitely not the right person to run to defeat him in 2020. So right now, the answer is no. But I think we all need to be asking ourselves that question periodically. And I hope that a lot of young people kind of use the election to think, wow, like should I run for public office? Am I the right person for a given job, whether it's a school board or a senator?
But your Twitter account is, using it more than you were in the past. I mean, do you expect to use that in terms of as a way to show where you disagree with President Trump?
Well, Charlie, I think it's clear that I disagree with the president on lots of issues. And I think Twitter is one vehicle to do that. And I hope that kind of all of us are thinking about the different ways in which we can kind of raise our voices and try to help ensure that things we think should be more on the agenda are. It's Equal Pay Day today. I hope that's something that gets a lot of attention. I'll probably be tweeting about that later today, so stay tuned. It's Earth Day later this month. I hope that gets a lot of attention. And I think Twitter is one vehicle for any of us that are on social media to help elevate awareness and hopefully to help kind of draw attention, particularly to areas that we think are underappreciated or are kind of not being addressed in what we think are the right ways.
We're in the midst of a debate about whether Russia tried to influence the election. And we've heard from former CIA directors, we've heard from former vice presidents who say this is the most sophisticated campaign ever that they've seen by Russia to try and influence the election and potential administration, or the current administration during the campaign. What do you think about what Russia did during the campaign?
Well, Norah, what I know about that I learned from you, Charlie, Gayle, from people in the media. I think it's clear there are lots of questions that have yet to be answered, and I think Americans deserve an answer to those questions.
Do you think they had any role in your mother's defeat, Russian influence?
I think we don't yet know the answer to anything around Russia, and I think we all deserve those answers.
So why do you think your mother lost an election that many people thought she would win?
Well, clearly, I worked very hard for that goal.
And so did your father.
I'm deeply biased towards my mom. I'm
so
as proud of her today.
You have a strong reason to want to know.
Well, for me, Charlie, I'm focused on the future. I think part of what I hope to do with It's Your World, what I hope to do with my work at the foundation, what I hope to do kind of through my teaching, which thank you for mentioning that earlier, is to help encourage all of us to be focused on kind of what do we think our major challenges are, kind of what can each of us do. I think there's so much to worry about today to ensure that we get to a future that is healthier, safer, more equitable. I'm focused on that.
Yeah. It's an interesting time for the Democratic Party, though, because they have to look to new leadership and people who are prepared not only to run for elective office, but also to be a part of building the party back at the local, state, and national level.
And I'm really grateful, here in New York City, we have some fantastic, dynamic Democrats who are doing just that. I have written another book, She Persisted, that was partly inspired by Senator Warren reading Coretta Scott King's letter, or at least attempting to read her letter on the Senate floor. So thankfully, Charlie, we do have lots of strong Democratic voices and lots of strong independent voices, I think, who are raising awareness about what they think is wrong and what we need to do that's right.
There's a possibility that politics is in your DNA.
Well, I hope that politics is in all of our DNA. And I mean that deeply. I think, again, being
your DNA is different, Chelsea, than everybody else.
No, Gayle. Well, I mean this. I think that kind of being a citizen isn't something that just happens on Election Day.
Yeah.
I think we have to stay informed and engaged. And I think that's been kind of as true over the last few months as it's been true kind of throughout my life. And I hope that more people understand why I feel that way. And I hope more people kind of who have been more engaged since Election Day stay engaged. We'll all be better for that.
Well, you're getting the message out for sure.
Chelsea Clinton, thank you. I know you have a bonus section in the book as well.
Thank you.
That's worth also taking a look at.
Thank you, Norah.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here. And Gayle will talk to President Trump's daughter, Ivanka, later today. It will be her first interview since assuming an official role in the White House, assistant to the president. You can see the conversation tomorrow right here, only on CBS This Morning.
Any message, Chelsea? Anything you want me to pass along to Ivanka today when I see her? Other than
I hope her kids are doing well.
Yeah, all right.
I hope they're enjoying their new home in Washington.
All right. She wishes the same for you, that your kids are doing well always.